MedBix Webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hey, welcome to the MedBix Webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host. No, I'm not Albert Einstein. So my guests are. She is one of them. So happy holidays, ladies and gentlemen. So we are, we are now thinking, everybody is thinking about food more than anything else. So including me, I love pineapple upside down cake. Every Christmas I used to eat. So we have to be very careful what you're eating nowadays. With all the COVID happened, everything, we have to be in a good health. So after that, I'm going to talk about I'm going to talk with a physician who is expert in, actually. She's doing a lot of podcasts on the weight loss. So she would be a great guest for us, particularly right time before the holidays. So let us talk with her. And then after that, I'm going to present a topic on psychedelics. Science of psychedelics, everybody is talking about. What is that really deep into the scientific aspect of it? Can you replace psychedelics with other kind of things, with other substances? That's what I'm going to explore through mathematics and neuroscience. So anyway, Dr. Heather Awad is from she's from Midwest. She went to school there, everywhere. She spent most of her time in the Midwest, and she is from there. So now she is practicing also there. Without further ado, let me bring it to the table. Welcome, Dr. Awad.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit of your background, a little bit professional and personal background. What is going on?
Sure. So I am a family doctor by training, and I live in Minnesota, and I did go to medical school here. And I was always interested in food as medicine. So if someone said, if someone had high cholesterol, I would say, well, let's talk about what you eat for lunch. So that's always been an interest of mine. And like a lot of women in midlife, I was doing just fine with my weight. And then all of a sudden in my mid 40s, without changing anything, I just noticed that my weight was going up and I was gaining a lot of weight around the middle. And this is a very common problem at midlife. So I tried kind of the things that usually worked for me, and they didn't work at all. So then I tried all the special diets, and some of them made me feel terrible. And some of them, it was yo-yo dieting. So I would lose weight and then gain back more than before. And I got into a range that I knew was an unhealthy weight range. And I got really worried that, was I stuck being overweight, from midlife going forward? And was I going to get diseases like diabetes and heart disease because of this weight gain, that was around my middle? And so I really dived into the research on what goes on at midlife with our hormonal changes, and found that that really we have to pay attention to insulin resistance if we want to have a normal weight at midlife and beyond, because it's a natural occurrence for women at midlife, in perimenopause and menopause. And then I also, though, got some life coaching, because we eat a lot of our feelings in the modern era. There's food everywhere, every event we go to. And so I got some coaching about how to have my own back, how to feel my feelings instead of eating them. And then all of a sudden, losing weight got really easy because I understood the biology, but then I was also able to just implement it. And now I work with women online, professional women online, and so that they can have some accountability to achieve their weight loss goals as well, and feel better, get healthier at midlife and beyond.
So a lot of people think nowadays, just a magic pill there, Ozempic, and a lot of these new medicines coming up. Do you think that magic pill works without any side effects, or what do you think? Before that, I used to in the 1980s and 90s, there is this called a Medifast. I used to go to the doctor's offices, then was
Mm.
selling medical devices. They used to tell me about Medifast, and then all quickly after that, it died. A lot of people, it didn't work. A lot of lawsuits came in because of cardiovascular diseases. They showed up with that medicine, with that drug. So
Right.
a lot of these yo-yo things. Now they are talking about Ozempic. I have a just a miss in general. My to guard any woman or man, to guard those kind of a new things. What do you suggest on that new pills coming into the market?
There some of them are pills and some are injections, and they can be very helpful because some people can find that they do not lose weight with lifestyle changes. So, and people who've had obesity their whole lives or who already have type 2 diabetes, they can be a great um, thing to do. But when people take those, they have to know that their doctors are actually expecting them to take them for the rest of their life. And that's one of my big concerns is that people will take them and then stop because we do have research that already that people do that. And then it will be the next yo-yo where you will take this, lose weight, but you don't know how to maintain it because you don't have the lifestyle skills. And then you'll just gain it back again. So that's my concern about these medications in particular.
That is, I used to work with one HMO company. At that time, I was helping the president of HMO. We gave discounts for the people who lose some weight, to
Yeah.
men. Then we gave worst thing we did was sometimes we did a Las Vegas trip. If you lose 20 pounds, 25 pounds, we give you a tip for the Las Vegas. They went there. When they come back, they're twice the weight
Oh
of that
gosh.
before.
Oh
So,
no. Yeah, that's the worry because anything, even like you talked about Medifast, those are shakes, weight loss shakes, and there's no maintenance plan for Medifast. I knew a doctor that used to give those to people, and I said, well, what do they do then when they're done? And he said, well, mostly they usually just keep drinking shakes, and then maybe eat one meal a day. And I thought, oh, that sounds terrible. If you
yeah,
like to eat food,
yeah.
um, so that's why I do it with lifestyle with eating care, paying attention to what you eat, and knowing how your body works with food timing and what kinds of foods you eat, because then you can lose weight and then just keep going. And we work on, losing weight with foods that people like, so that when they've lost the weight, they just keep going because they already like it, and then it stays off.
You said that eating food. Let's talk about that a little bit. My mother, I'm from India. My mother used to do this called intermittent fasting once a week. She goes completely not eating at all on that day. She goes next day. She eats that every week. She used to do once. Now intermittent fasting is becoming just everybody's talking about it. I actually follow intermittent fasting because not because I'm lazy, not because of that I don't know how to cook. I like food, but I don't like cooking. So I eat one meal a day and a lot of coffee. That's what I drink.
Okay.
So what I did was I just trained my brain once a week. A lot of people once a day. People get surprised. It's all brain is a mental discipline. That what I found out. What do you think of eating is you can control that eating. I used to work with a lot of doctors. I used to go to these buffets. When we go to the buffet, you know one thing I noticed about doctors that then general public, even including executives, CEOs, executives, they always keep going second time, third time to the buffet. Doctors I never seen going second time. That was impressed me. I remember that. Say they have such a control and discipline they have because they want to look healthy in front of patients. That's one of the reasons I thought. But tell me a little bit about intermittent fasting and what do you think of the whole way of doing things?
Sure. I think that intermittent fasting actually can be a great tool. It's funny because we have evidence that intermittent fasting works, but we also have evidence that eating breakfast works. So you get to choose. And this is the great thing about having that freedom. Do you want to eat 3 meals a day or do you want to do intermittent fasting? And the other thing that's wonderful about fasting is like you do it differently than your mom did it. And we can all do it in a way that works with our lives. Like I have a client who eats from noon till 8 o'clock every day, except for the morning that she plays tennis. And that day she has breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you can actually really customize this to your life, and and you'll read like, "Oh, you should do this many hours or that many hours," and we do not have any good science that those hours for weight loss, like, we don't know what the best hours are. People will say, "Oh, it's gotta be this for this age." There are no studies that show any of that. So really, you can pick what fits for your lifestyle.
So, how do you approach your patients? If somebody comes to you and say, "I have this problem, I have a problem of weight gain," and particularly professional woman over 50 said that in menopause, some hormonal problem, they put weight, even they don't eat anything. So I used to remember my friend, she's telling me, if I smell food, I put a weight. She used to
Yeah.
tell me that.
Yeah.
So
So
tell us a little bit about that. How do you manage
yeah,
these
sure.
professional women?
So first of all, we want people to not cut calories because at midlife that doesn't work anymore because it causes stress hormones to go up and then you can't lose weight. So we say you want to eat enough to nourish yourself, but we want to stop overeating. So I actually usually have people start with moving from whatever they're doing now to eating 3 meals and no snacks. And that can be difficult, right? Because you want to have time in between meals where you're not eating anything. And that can be challenging in our culture in the United States. And then also getting rid of nighttime eating, which also is a big habit that a lot of people have. So if you ate enough at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then did not eat in between, a lot of people just start losing weight naturally with that. Because the way our hormones work, we need our digestive system to get quiet for some time in between. Um, so that and when we do that, then our body naturally pulls fat for energy in between times. So many women will lose weight just with that. Now, some of them will tell me, I can't, I don't feel well if I go and don't eat in between meals. And most of those people, if they get off of refined sugar and stop eating so much bread, you can have it sometimes, but not all the time, then those cravings go away and they can do just fine between breakfast and lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And I tell you the perfect meal too for weight loss and actually for feeling good and good health is to have some protein, fiber, and healthy fats at every meal.
Yeah.
And and that really helps you feel satisfied with the meal you're eating and then also keeps you satisfied for the time in between when you don't eat anything.
Heather, some people go extreme. I remember one of my friends. She a good friend of mine. She used to own hospices, and she went for a bypass surgery, and then unfortunately, during the surgery, she died.
Oh,
So there is
okay.
a lot of people think that bypass surgery is an automatic option. It still is there is some danger. It's a last option. What do you think of it? Bypass surgery, going to the gastric bypass surgery.
Yeah. I do think it's kind of a last option. I mean, I think people should try to work with someone like a coach first who can really give them good advice on lifestyle changes. They could try the medications, but it is can be a really major surgery to have these weight loss surgeries. And the other thing people need to know is that again, anything that you start and try for your weight loss, you want to know what the maintenance plan is. And the maintenance plan after these weight loss surgeries is eating very small amounts of things and having to limit what you eat of types of foods because you don't digest things quite as well. Um, and you can out eat your surgery again if you go
Yes.
back.
Yes.
So you need to know, like, do I want to eat this way for the rest of my life? Am I okay with that? Afterwards, find out what that meal plan actually is, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, I don't want to eat like that." Then you don't want to have the surgery, right?
Yes. What do you think of this Hello Fresh and all these people they send you every week? These are the right portions. These are the right things to do. Then you will maintain your weight. Do you suggest to all those single guys like me? We're going to order some Hello Fresh and then done with it.
I think it's perfectly good to hire out the cooking if you don't like to cook. Yeah. There are many good companies now. We just ordered one. that, and I'm trying to remember the name of it. This one is actually vegetarian because we eat some vegetarian meals and some meat meals at my house. And we were finding that we needed things for lunch, and so it's nice to have this little grain bowl that has lentils and lots of vegetables and a nice sauce that you can eat at lunchtime. So you have a hot meal and a healthy meal, and you feel satisfied. So I think it's perfectly good to hire out that food, because otherwise, if you don't choose that, then sometimes you're like, oh, well, I'll just go to fast food, or I don't know what to eat and I eat junk. So I think, being intentional and choosing something like that, it can be a great way to go.
Heather, insurance companies, I was from that side of the story, insurance companies tried this, lose weight, we will give you reimbursements and we'll cut down your premiums and all this. They tried everything. It did not work. So what way the payers can come back with a plan like that? Don't you think they should? It's one of my visions. I create a team of five, care team of five. One of them should be the life coach. Don't you think that
Yeah.
insist on life coach and reimburse them for that coach? That would be a better idea than, if you lose weight 20 pounds and we'll give you this much money, then they will put a 40 pounds next time. Is that there must be some alternative kind of a reimbursement structure for that? What do you think?
I do. I think that allowing people to choose a program that they like and to cover that is would make the most sense, because people have different choices that they want to do for their weight loss journey, because they want something that works for weight loss and works for maintenance, and that they should be able to make some choices about that. So I agree.
So, Heather, I'm going to present a topic on the little bit of interesting topic. Then you and me are going to watch together. You can jump in anytime. If any questions or a comment is welcome. And then after I come back, I will ask you, what is your favorite food? The fattiest food you like, and then the leanest food that you didn't like, but you're eating. The thing, the leanest food you don't like it, but you eat it. And the fattest food what you like the most. So I'm going to
Okay.
come back and I know how do you approach, how do the people can reach you. So I'm going to present this topic on psychedelics a little bit, and then you
Yeah.
and me will watch together. Okay.
Okay.
That is a Dr. Heather Awad. I know how to spell last name. That is, I think I did because I grew up with the last name for a while. Um, this is a mathematical equation. A moment, let me bring it to we're going to watch together in the bottom of this. Yeah, we're going to, okay. So she's also watching this thing. So let me introduce you a mathematical equation. So is educational purpose only. I'm not a doctor. I can't treat you. You need to ask any questions about treatment, Dr. Awad, not me. so so there is in March 2020 there is a story appeared on Medium. It is Erin during the beginning of the pandemic. Erin Boltzweiler. She was diagnosed with the stage 4 breast cancer, metastatic cancer. It is a months to live, they said. And then she has a mother of two children, young children. She is consumed by dying thoughts about what is going to happen to her children. She's worried about it. So she went to the she where is that? I thought that yeah, where is this? I can't see. Yeah, one. Okay. So she went to a doctor in Seattle. This is from Seattle. Dr. Sunil Kumar Agarwal is a rehab doctor. Then he wanted to prescribe psilocybin for her, a psychedelic drug. But psilocybin is a Schedule One drug. That means there is no medical usage, as according to the FDA. There is no medical usage other than it is a potential abuse. There's a possibility of the potential abuse. That's what the Schedule 1 definition of that. So you can prescribe in state of Washington. So what are these drugs? Psychedelics is a mushrooms that people call LSD. Some people call the pills MDMA. There's several names. So they're all ayahuasca. There's all these drugs, and then mushrooms, and then these are all psychedelics. They call mind altering drugs. So what is? But there is a right to try act. There is a Trump administration passed a right to try act. In that act, so people can use anything, even the experimental drugs, they can use it. But the agencies don't feel comfortable with that, rightly so, because there is a potential abuse. The kids will start using those kind of things. Is controlling those psychedelic drugs is kind of a challenging. So she went, but anyway, she went to the court. About ninth, she filed a lawsuit along with Dr. Kumar in the Ninth Judiciary Circuit. She filed a lawsuit, federal lawsuit in state of Washington. I don't know the results, but there a lot of people are they are changing a little bit. For example, United States, state of Oregon, you can prescribe psychedelic drugs. The other countries, but no other state. The other states are Canada, Israel, Australia is a full. Jamaica is no surprise. So that is so those are the countries that you can really go there and without much restrictions. So actually, there is a good and bad of this psychedelic drugs. What are the good part? I'm going to give you the Dr. Rick. My the Rick Strassman. He was a doctor. He was a 1990 U.S. funded research he did. Okay, U.S. government funded research he did on the psychedelics, 1990 to 1995. This is a Carl Mullis. Carl Mullis is a good part. I'm going to tell you. He is the one. He is a very interesting guy. He's from North Carolina, small town from North Carolina. He invented PCR testing, polymer testing. That's what he did. Polymer chain testing. So this is, you heard about during the COVID time, PCR testing became very popular. That is, he was the inventor. He won the Nobel Prize for that, actually. But he's kind of a strange guy. He said in the interviews, he said that he could able to discover this PCR drug, the test through the psychedelic drugs. So he is also a very interesting guy. He said that he met his dead grandfather and he had a beer with him. so he's an interesting guy. So, but anyway, that what he ascribed that Kemal is that say that his psychedelic drugs helped him to invent PCR testing. Rick Strassman gave a lot of good and bad things about this one. There is a bad part is Charles Manson. This guy went on a killing spree and killed a lot of people. So that's a bad part of the LSD. They say they assign that the drug is the cause of that euphoria. So there's a good and bad of that story. But I can tell you there's a lot more good parts. You can see. The good part is that it is one of the things is the addiction, chronic disease, addiction, schizophrenia. That there is schizophrenia. That another problem is a depression, anxiety. All those things, all those alcoholism, all these things can be stopped by a single dosage. Okay, then the bad part is that it creates. Sometimes it can open up flashbacks and spontaneous flashbacks. All the bad things. Sometimes you get this is a particular one is that certain things is coming back spontaneous recurring bad thoughts, and that could be very dangerous. And then people go through. Can you hear me, Dr. Awad?
Yes.
Okay, good. So psychedelic drugs, that there is a reaction that some people say it is open to the higher dimensions. There is actually some scientists mentioned that there are gods coming in, aliens coming to talk with them from higher dimensions. So there is a kind of even the scientists mentioned that there's a possibility there that's a very interesting. So it's kind of a controlled. You need to be what Rick Strassman is saying, that you need to be in a controlled way. You have to administer, not like anywhere. You have to be extremely controlled environment. This one, So, but I'm going to. So, there's a leading researcher from Johns Hopkins, Matthew Johnson, says that actually these experiences are psychological, not not psychological, it's a psychological experience more than chemical experience, biological experience. That's interesting. The psychological experience. Actually, what he says is, so I'm going to play a video. You can see some of the video. I made it a long time ago. But you'll know about the fractal, the psychedelic drugs. I made a video, very quick 5-minute video. Watch this. For mental relaxation, early human civilizations in the East practiced Buddha's teachings, while in the West they performed rituals. One place they mastered the consciousness through meditation, and other place they altered consciousness through psychedelics. But there is another alternative technique called consciousness hacking through technological innovation. A mathematical equation through virtual reality can offer and alter and master consciousness at the same time. A genius painter from Japan, a legendary scientist from Princeton University, and an engineer from IBM came from a different walks of life, from different times, made important contributions for consciousness hacking. Benoit Mandelbrot was hired by IBM to solve a nagging problem in the early days of telecommunications. The problem is a noise popping up while sending the data across telephone lines. Noise is an undesirable or unwanted signal that gets randomly added to the actual information carrying signal. Mandelbrot noticed a fixed pattern of noise repeating across the telephone lines irrespective of the distance the data traveled. Mandelbrot recollected seeing a similar idea before, a picture of a giant wave on a children's spiral notebook. The picture is the original painting from 18th century well-known Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai. It is called the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Look at any part of the Great Wave, it looks very similar to the whole wave. The whole contains the parts. It looks counterintuitive, but the part also contains the whole. The artistic expression gave rise to a new concept in mathematics called fractals. Mandelbrot discovered nature's fundamental unit repeated through a geometrical pattern. The same geometrical pattern is present everywhere in the clouds, seashores, trees, and even in the human bodies. The nervous system looks very similar to that of a lightning. The EKG of the heart signal is strikingly similar to that of a noise signal in telephone wires. If you further zoom in into the signal, the strange looking pattern emerges. The pattern is discovered by Mandelbrot, bears his name Mandelbrot set. The nature around you, the snowflakes, trees, mountains are built from these series of Mandelbrot sets. We can also observe Mandelbrot sets at the beginning of life in a woman's womb. The equation that governs the nature is spectacularly simple and displays the nature in exquisite details. Before the public understood the power of the Mandelbrot sets, Hollywood jumped in. The Star Trek movies with the fractals put the movie watchers in a trance. There is a different kind of a trance was described by an American botanist, a former New Age hippie, Terence McKenna. He frequently experimented with a psychedelic brew called ayahuasca. He chronicled his experiences through books and videos. Amazonian Indians consumed this brew on ceremonial occasions. Terence McKenna claims this brew produced visual and auditory hallucinations while his eyes were closed. He claimed his experiences profoundly changed his outlook on life.
Many of them, and they come pounding toward you, and they will stop in front of you and vibrate, but then they do a very disconcerting thing, which is they jump into your body. They jump into your body, and then they jump back out again. And the whole thing is going on in this very high-speed mode, where you're being presented with thousands of details per second, and you can't get a hold on, you say, my God, what's happening?
In recent studies by Johns Hopkins and New York University Langone Special Unit Psychedelic Medicine Center conducted studies with a psychedelic drug psilocybin in a controlled environment. The chemical compound in psilocybin is dimethyltryptamine, in short called DMT. The studies show a single dose of psilocybin dramatically reduced the depression with the subjects of research. Interestingly, the visual hallucinations the subjects describing look very similar to Mandelbrot fractals. In the years before, Albert Einstein published a theory of general relativity, a profoundly mind-bending way of looking at nature. Mass tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells mass how to move. Gravity is not a force, it is an illusion created by the bodies moving in space-time curvature. Einstein deployed a very different branch of mathematics called non-Euclidean geometry. We don't experience non-Euclidean geometry in our everyday lives. American Airlines pilot explained this phenomena through a tricky example. The shortest route from Dallas to Hong Kong is first Dallas to Seattle, then Seattle to Alaska, then Alaska to Siberia, then Siberia to Mongolia, then Mongolia to Hong Kong. That is the shortest route. But you see on a flat map, it creates an illusion the Hong Kong is directly right across Dallas. But if you combine Einstein's non-Euclidean geometrical concepts with the Mandelbrot fractals, watching in a virtual reality devices, it is truly a technical wonder. It produces mind-feasting, kaleidoscoping patterns where all your visual channels are fully occupied. It puts you in a trance and gives you same bliss without inducing substances. The fractals are nature's artistic expressions. Now you are in tune with the nature. Welcome to 25 milligram DMT experience without a DMT. Consciousness hacking through technology is a mass mental relaxation technique for modern humans. Thank you for watching. So there, let me explain to you. So Matthew Johnson says that, thank you for watching that video. Matthew Johnson says that, let me bring Matthew Johnson, the leading researcher in the John Hopkins, says that it's a more of a psychological, so you can create these kind of things more of a psychology point of view. So that's why I said that you can give an alternative. Actually, biology happens all the time. So after sex, they say that the same serotonin releases the same kind of things as a psychedelics. It's not that different. That is not that much different. So why we think that we need a pill to do that? There is alternative ways we can explore now. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not a treatment. It's a relaxation technique. Psychedelics, then you saw the video, is a mathematical expression. I show the Mandelbrot set is a mathematic. It produces it through mathematics. The fractals. Fractal geometry is produced through mathematical equations, neuroscience, and technology. We combine the VR and everything. We're combining them together, simulating the psychedelic experience. So audio, visual. So two things you find in this psychedelics. One is audio, visual expressions, hallucinations, audio, video hallucinations you will find. Weird geometrical shapes, deities, aliens. They're all kind of a strange graphics coming to you when you take the psychedelics. In fact, What is the second one? You feel you're lost in space and time. You feel the self-awareness is gone, his sense of oneness, and a loss of self-referential system. You don't know you exist. So it's a mind and body got separated. That's two things that you profoundly feel with the psychedelic drugs. So you can, how can you, so there is a, so there's audio visual stimulations and the feeling of oneness are the two important things in the psychedelic drugs. So stimulating the simulations. That's what we're doing, trying to do with the mathematics without all the substances. Can you do those two things? Audio visual simulations and then feeling of oneness. How can you bring those through the abstract concepts into reality? That's what. So in the hyperbolic fractal geometry, actually there is a mathematician who took it. I never took any drugs. Let me tell you, a mathematician took it and then experimented with the DMT. By slowly increasing the dosage, he saw different kind of geometry. In 5 milligrams, he saw beautiful pictures, and then 10 milligrams, he saw crystals and lightning and amplified crystals, and actually 25 milligrams, he saw hyperbolic geometry. That's what Albert Einstein is a non-Euclidean geometry. Hyperbolic geometries are very strange kind of mathematics you don't see every day. Maybe we are at the beginning of civilization, human civilization. We have that kind of vision. We don't have it right now. So hyperbolic geometries we don't see on every day in life. But that is what you see in the 25 milligrams hyperbolic geometry. You can create with the mathematics. So the next one is how do you place these 3D hyperbolic fractal geometries are basically Mandelbrot sets. If you do that, you get the same visuals, same aliens, everything they show up everywhere, same way. So you created actually same fractal, same graphics. That's why you get, if you see Jackson Pollock art, it is actually a lot of fractal geometry inside. So any pot you see, the small pot contains the whole. Whole contains the small pots contain the whole. All his pictures are that. So it kind of invokes something about our mind and mind body relationship there. So Jackson Pollock is one of the. You see another artist, MC Escher, that, sorry guys, MC Escher does the same geometry, impossible steps. You'll feel like that you're going up, but you're coming down. That's kind of things. So mathematicians love these kind of structures because it comes with a lot of higher dimensions. So mathematicians love these. So you can feel that separation by watching the art. You can go to a museum. You can get the same effect sometimes. So feeling of oneness. How do you? So these two what they did were Edward and Maybrit Moser from Kavli Institute of Neuroscience. What they discovered in 2015, they won the Nobel Prize for this. A special kind of strange kind of things they found out. It is called as a husband and wife team. What they found is a place cells and grid cells, a GPS system in the brain. Then actual cells tell you where you are at. Suppose you are in Manhattan, 5th Avenue and 34th Street, you want to meet. Grid cells give you Manhattan, place cells tell you 34th Street. It gives you a geometry, a geometrical structure. So the brain manages the place cells. They found out certain cells in the brain give you, through cognitive spaces, actually the location and space where you're at, even where is your hand, where is your legs. All those things are founded by these cognitive spaces. The Mosers found, they won the Nobel Prize in 2015. That is where the geometry comes in the brain. So there is a geometry. All our thought process is geometrical structures. If you think about a thought, that is a geometrical structure. Remember that. The passage of time. They found Leila Reddy from. This is a very interesting. She didn't get the Nobel Prize yet, but she is from France. And what she did was she found the neurons, certain neurons, they fire at different times. So if you are boiling of water, and it tells you middle of the water, it fires a one neuron, a time cell neuron. It may do other functions, but it reminds you the time. So at the boiling time, it reminds you another neuron it fires. So they found out individual neurons firing that thing. She discovered that. Think about that, guys. So place, and we know the place where we're at, what we're doing, and second is time passing. We understand the time passing through brain. The cells do that. Our neurons can do both. The reason I'm talking about them, the reason is through these, so space and time, or thought is a fractal geometry. As I mentioned, thought creates a geometrical structure, a fractal geometrical structure. If we have a complex thought, is a fractal geometry structure. Basically, that's what people are thinking about it nowadays. So if if you do meditation, that is where it comes in the picture. It can disable the place and time cells. It can lower the function of the place and time cells. When you lower the function, if it is not firing the neurons, what happens? You feel that lost in space. You don't know where you're at, and you detach. And then time cells, if the time cells function is stopped, what happens? You don't know the time. You lost your passage of time, you don't feel it. You feel eternal. So mathematical equations can give you this kind of disabling the place. You can watching the fact of meditation. You can, so meditation, you can do that. By doing a meditation, you can lower the space and time, and feeling oneness and a different visual sensations. You can feel that lost in space and time. That what the neurons, if you can, during the meditation, they found out. So they lower the function of the place and time cells. That's what they believe. There's a lot of research going on right now. So the second thing is this 10 minutes. If you do mindful meditation, every day, there's actually, I follow I have VR, and I follow actually, name is interesting, trip.com. So trip, you can download it. They do a lot of psychedelic fractals. You can watch that, and the VR psychedelic fractals. You do 10 minutes a day through meditation. You can combine the technology with the VR. You do the trip, you got the meditation, you got the lower that place cells and time cells will go down, function. You feel that oneness, you feel that you're lost in space, and you feel humanity. That's a strange kind of things. There's a fractal geometry with hyperbolic fractal geometries can create. It's a very interesting way of putting together. You can relax much easier. 10 minutes a day, you do that. It is. So I'm going to bring a, so I have a, I'm going to bring a, this is a, I install brain cafes for anybody who wanted doctor's offices. I can install brain cafe with the 6 stations. You can do that. You can visualize this process. The patients feel great actually after that. So that's under the supervision of doctor. You can do the 10 minutes. You don't want to do more than 10 minutes. You can do neurofeedback, both of them together same time, meditation, and watching the fractals. That's what we do. But anyway, let me bring Dr. Awad. She is expert in a lot of people go through. There's a Mandelbrot says you can buy a T-shirt on my website. I'm doing some advertisement now. Let me bring Dr. Awad back. She is the, so. What do you think, Dr. Awad? I can't hear you. Mute.
Yeah, well, I do need to tell your audience that I know very little about psychedelics. But I welcome all the new research that's coming out about its therapeutic uses, and I can't wait to hear more about how we can use this to help people feel better. But I know very little about it currently.
I'm not a doctor. You're the one who helping. I just have put the technology there. That's all I do. So Dr. Awad, so not only the people who put a weight, it's something to do with the mental health also, right? It's not just a straightforward, they stop eating, then they lose weight. And there is some eating is connected with some mental health, depression, and all those things, right? So
I
how do
would
you?
say there's a lot of mindset work. Yes, mental health can work with it, and then socialization and culture, and so there is a lot of mindset work that helps with weight loss. Yes, to choose what you want to eat when you want to eat it. Other people tell us when to eat, and it's nice to feel confident through coaching to choose what you want to eat and when you want to eat it, and still feel like you're a nice person when you tell people no, that you don't want to eat what they want you to eat, and all those things.
I wanted to ask you let me bring it together, both of us. Oh, let me. Okay, let me ask you. So, if you mentioned culture, is it you? Do you see that cultural differences, the eating habits and all those things? Some people eat a lot, but they don't put weight. So Koreans, for example, they eat a lot of meat, and I hardly see them putting weight. So, very culturally related. These eating habits are culturally related, right?
Yes, and in Japan, they before they eat, they set an intention to eat 80% of full, which is, a great way to maintain a regular weight. Whereas in the US, many of us set an intention to overeat, or we overeat because we're upset, or we overeat to show our love for the person that made the food. And overeating is a way to gain weight. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, there are a lot of cultural factors.
So a lot of professional women now you're saying about they go to the work and then come back. A lot of times, what happens, they have to go to the lunches with the other people,
Mhm.
and then these kind of things. How do you? Particularly, I used to take a lot of doctors for lunches, so I know. So what would how do you manage that when they go out, and then also for the doctor's offices, a lot of times the medical reps bring a lot of food. you know so
Yeah.
that is another problem for doctors actually. So how do you accommodate all these kind of things?
Well, I look at, if you can have almost any meal if you don't overeat it. So you can go out to eat somewhere and eat an amount where you feel satisfied but not full, and be willing to leave some food on your plate or take home the leftovers or whatever. So that will serve you very well. But when there's food in the office in the break room, um, you you don't want to eat in between meals. So that takes some mindset work. Sometimes people will tell me there's cake in my break room every day, or there's donuts in my break room every day. And
Yeah.
so you have to kind of wrap your mind around, I had someone and I just said, think do you want to eat cake every day? And she was a doctor, and she said, it wouldn't be good for me to eat cake every day. And I said, well, how often do you want to eat cake in the break room? And she said, well, I mean, once a week would be nice. I said, okay. Because she was feeling bad every time she went in the break room. I said, why don't you eat it once a week and not eat it on the other days, and have it with your meal, have it with your lunch? And she said, well, that seems so reasonable. And, then she lost weight.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of, you see how there's some mindset there. You feel like, oh, if it's there, I should eat it, or I want to eat it, or I'm stressed out, so I'll eat it, or I deserve it, or all these kind of mindset things, instead of just thinking, what do I really want? What's really good for me? What will I like? And,
you know medical
ultimately you'll make a good choice.
medical reps, I used to take, because when I was selling MRI, CT scans, ultrasounds, I used to take a lot of food to them. I intentionally, the doctors, I used to take Subway sandwiches or something like that and then give to them. But some people, they want demand, I want Indian food, Mexican food. That's a heavy foods they eat. The doc, it's because the staff likes them, the doctors don't like it. So it's a kind of a conflict for me. So I think, doctors need to educate. Sometimes you get tired of it, and then to maintain a good health, you need a balanced food. As you say, even the pharmaceutical companies must realize that in taking more balanced food is very good idea.
Yeah. And actually, if you are Indian or you are Mexican, then you should eat foods that you like and your own cultural foods. Just just not overeat. Eat
Yeah.
and then stop when you're satisfied. And then if someone says you should have more, then no matter what kind of eating style you have, then you just say, no, thank you. I've had enough. Um, and move on and appreciate whoever made the food for you or brought the food to you. And that's how you can still be a nice person and not have to overeat to show your love and appreciation.
I worked with a lot of foreign doctors. That's one of the, I don't want to say against something about that, but I can tell you, after 50, they start putting weight, particularly women putting a lot of weight after the menopause, as you said that.
Yeah.
I used to, I was, I had a great friend, a dentist, and she was very good. And then after that, she started putting 300 pounds, all of a sudden bulged out. I was surprised at what happened. She went to some other country and mother came in and cooked all her favorite foods. So controlling the mental discipline is as important as that eating the food she like. Tell me what food she like that you can resist, but still you can control. Yeah.
I mean, my problem actually, like a lot of people, is sugar. So
Mm.
I've learned that if I eat a small amount of dessert at the end of my meal, then I usually can be just fine with that. I also noticed that I used to eat like a big piece of pie, and now when I ate it slowly, I noticed that after like the first sliver, I didn't really even taste it anymore. It was just my brain being happy with more sugar. So now I know that like I can have a small piece of pie and I will enjoy every single bite, and then I'm done, because why would I eat more? Because I'm not even really tasting it anymore. And then it's not healthy for me and it's not good for my weight. And so that sugar's my struggle, I
That
would
is
say.
a great point, actually. That you don't actually. You're absolutely right. After certain bites, you don't even feel it, just because we are feeding to just the food himself. That is basically that is a very common experience to a lot of people. So
Mhm.
that's where you can. That's a great point you made. So, what food you said that you don't like beets? Then when you start liking it, tell me about that experience. How you did that?
Yeah, well, you know, you, I read the same thing that you and I had talked about before, where you can eat, something 7 times or 9 times, and you may learn to like it. And beets were very popular at some point, and they're beautiful, right? They're kind of red, and you see the red and gold in the salads. And I thought, oh, it's so sad I don't like beets. But I read that, and I decided that I would eat it many times. And you don't even have to try different ways. You can. I ended up I ate it a number of times and I did come to like it. There are other things that I've tried to do that with and I have not been able to but I was very happy to learn how to like beets. So,
So let's talk about your podcast. How often you do, and what podcasts, and where they can listen.
yeah, it's a weekly podcast. It's called the Vibrant MD Podcast. It's on all of the channels, Apple, Spotify, all the places, or at my website. Um, and we talk about weight loss, women's health, and food. And I talk about topics, food topics like food order and things you can do to bring your blood sugar level down that help you lose weight. And then I also have guests on that I think are add some value, have their own expertise about sleep or even emotional things like anger. Um, and people tend to really like the episodes.
So let me ask you about the. I saw some of the doctors here interviewing. Is very interesting. Definitely, people must watch. Lexicon means words you use are forever foods and neutral trip. Tell us a little bit about that. I love that kind of a reminder to be just one word things. Just
Yeah.
or one or
Well,
two
I
words.
help people find their forever foods. These are things that you really like and help you lose weight. Like I have a client right now who doesn't cook. She's like you. Her husband cooks and he doesn't make a lot of vegetables. And she said, but she really loves Brussels sprouts. And so because you want to have protein and some fiber, which is usually vegetables with your meal and some healthy fats, she's always on the lookout for Brussels sprouts. If she sees it at a restaurant, she'll get takeout with her meal to take it home. Or if she sees it in a deli counter, or sometimes she'll cook it herself. But for her, that's a forever food because she really loves it. It makes her feel really good. It helps her lose weight. And so that's a forever food for her. Um,
Excellent. That is really good because one of the food that you love the most and is healthy food, you keep picking up more and reminding yourself, hey, go and get it that one rather than getting another cake. That's a
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
you said that mindful eating, and another one, mindful eating, is the one that you said that you used it. Wishful
Yeah.
trip. What is that wish trip thinking? A trip when you go for vacations. How do you manage your food when you are visiting family members and everything?
What I tell people is to set an intention for a weight neutral trip. Because if you're trying to lose weight, then you're worried, am I going to lose weight? Am I not going to lose weight? And then people worry about gaining weight on a trip. So if you think, let's have a weight neutral trip, it brings your anxiety down about the trip in general. And it also gives you some ideas. Like, I had a friend that went to Italy, and she was a client as well. And she was like, well, I want to have a glass of wine in all the places in Italy because that's for me. And my daughter wants to have gelato every day, but I don't want to have gelato every day. And I said, well, how often do you want to have gelato? She said, well, twice. I'm going to be there 12 days. I want to have gelato twice. And so she was able to have everything she wanted and really enjoy it. And she came back and she had not gained any weight, and her weight was the same as when she left. So kind of just thinking, how can this be a weight neutral trip and I can still have the things that I want? And then all of a sudden you don't want gelato every day because you're like, well, that's not a weight neutral trip. That's me just eating like a jerk and eating too much sugar on a trip. But I want to try it a couple times. Then all of a sudden I'm having what I want, but I'm not overdoing it.
Yes.
And then it feels good, right? You don't feel like you're depriving yourself, but you also don't, you don't feel like you're overdoing and gaining weight and feeling bad when you come back, because you want to feel happy when you come back, right? I tried the things and my weight's the same and it was a wonderful trip. And that's the goal.
That is great reminder to people is when you're coming back, don't feel when you come back, you don't want to get depressed feeling. So just watch out in the beginning itself and remind yourself, when I go back, still I feel good. That's a great idea. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a truly honor to talk with you. It's a fun, and it just gave a lot of education for all of us. It's some tricks to follow the day-to-day tricks, how you follow forever foods that I remember forever.
Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Awad.
Thank you for having me.
Happy to join.
It's been a pleasure.
Just stay on for a few minutes after the broadcast. I'll talk with you. Just thank you so much, all of you. Good night and happy holidays, everybody. So let me my usual things that I'm going to play that one. Where is the design? And I'm getting older now. It's getting very difficult to find things now. Yeah, that's let me. So, yeah, that's a Dr. Awad. Go there, vibrant-md.com. That is what it is. Just let me see. I'm having a hard time finding this video. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Happy holidays. Good night.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it